Hello, everybody. I am Rogue2501, and once again, we're in 7 Days to Die. This one's going to be a bit different for a couple of reasons. One, because there is a zombie crawling on the ground over there that I did not see a second ago, and two, uh, I'm joined by my brother from another mother, KGB assassin, or Zach. How's it going, man?
How's it going, everybody? Doing well, man. How are you doing?
Good, since we're going to be driving around and killing zombies when we can, but so, being that it is October, and October is the greatest of the months, we're in 7 Days to Die, but at the same time, I've beefed up my inventory and my craftable inventory. And as you can see here, I've got a mini bike, so I can finally explore the map that I've been waiting to explore, because I've just been running around in this tiny little area since I started the game. So I've done those 3 Horde nights and everything in just this tiny space. I haven't gone very much further. It's mostly because I didn't have the mini bike. So I'm going to be driving around, exploring the map, and taking a look at what's around. So we all get to see that together for the first time, so to speak. But like I said, the difference is KGB is here, and the subject, the thing we're going to be talking about for the most part is like if a zombie apocalypse were real, like if it happened in our reality, not like a game or like anything like that, in the grounded, you know, I'm sitting on my bed reality. What would I do, or how would I handle the
Yep.
apocalypse? Like, would I panic, or would I dig a hole in the ground, or would I go about things?
We
So,
would stand and fight.
for the most part, yeah, because zombies got to go. But pretty much, like, and these wouldn't be practical or viable tips for anyone who would want to survive a zombie apocalypse. Like, they're in no way, shape, or form meant to like serve you, other than in a humorous manner.
Of
Because, like I
course.
said, this is just the stuff I would do, and not all of it is practical. Oh, there's a zombie.
Uh, and we're going to be referencing Max Brooks's Zombie Survival Guide, so it's going to help a lot if you have read that material.
And if you
But
haven't,
it's not necessary. You should pick it up, though.
yeah, it's extremely, like, even set aside the whole zombie apocalypse thing, like, just in general, like, it will help you, like, that is actually practical knowledge that you could use to help in any kind of a disaster situation. Because, zombies aside, like I said, there's a lot of practical good stuff in there for people to
Yep.
use in any situation, so to speak. But us, we're just going over fake zombies.
Mm-hmm.
KGB knows, and I did not know, this hole in the ground that led to a underground cavern was right by the road. Got a marker down now. KGB knows that I'm not like a prepper, survivalist, prepared type, but I do, you know, I am somewhat prepared for things to happen, or that may or may happen. So,
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, I think I
You
might
are
have,
equipped to
yeah,
defend yourself.
that too. And we also have, the we have the med supplies, we got the water, we got, we are somewhat prepared, basically. Not fully, just somewhat.
Yeah.
So I think this will help me, at least, if anything were to happen and or go down, because I won't have to like raid, stop, or hit anything on the way out of town or to where I'm going. Basically, like, all I have to do is grab a couple of things around the apartment, and then out the door I go. Like, I don't have to hit the hardware store. I don't got to hit the pharmacy. I don't got to go to the gun store or anything like that. So I've already saved myself quite a bit of time, effort, and heartache by just being able to go. The ancient
We
one
are
also,
definitely practitioners of gun use
yeah,
for self-defense.
we do,
Yes.
between us both, we do own firearms, so we're, I wouldn't say prolific. I mean, we know how to use them, clean them,
No.
care for them,
Yeah, we can.
and not shoot ourselves with them.
Yep.
So in this case, yeah, we'd have our defense plus we'd have our supplies for, bugging out of a town that's potentially full of zombies. But also, when you're, let's say, fleeing an area or evacuating or escaping or however you want to put your tail between your legs, there's things to like avoid or places that you should probably avoid going towards or near, especially if there's some sort of zombie apocalypse or, let's say for instance, people's heads turn into mushrooms and they click to figure out where they're going, stuff like that. The few
Yep.
places you should avoid on your way down, depending on where you live in said town, hospitals for sure,
Absolutely.
police stations, schools, community centers, anywhere where people will like kind of gather or tend to corral or otherwise stack up. Places like that aren't going to be the best places to be around just because, you know, those would be like points of infection or whatever. There's a high
I
probability
think we're
of,
comfortable saying hospital's the least safe spot.
yeah, the number one danger area
Yeah.
in the beginning times of any kind of like zombie strife. Hospitals are easily going to be the most dangerous place because that's where all the bit and sick people are going to be, and they are going to obviously create more sick and bitten people. So yeah,
Yeah.
avoid. You may want to literally avoid those like the plague.
Yeah. Yes. Pretty much. I
So
would say what next? You're thinking probably grocery store, anywhere where Walmarts are gonna be off limits, anywhere you're going to get supplies where everyone else might have the same thought, basically, right?
that's the general idea. Yeah, you want to or I'm going to, I should say, I'm going to avoid places where I think people are going to congregate, and that doesn't necessarily. I mean, yes, it includes a hospital, but it also, like I said, includes a police station, pharmacies, but yeah, like grocery stores, camping stores, gun stores, stuff like that. You know, various peoples are going to have the same idea to go to the same places. So again, it'll create a mass of people who have the potential to turn into, the thing that can eat you alive. So you want to try to avoid places like that. And, there are probably some I'm forgetting, like church. You avoid churches, and I'm not saying that any kind of anti-religious type of thing. It's just, there's going to be a bunch of people at church, trust me.
They're gonna be looking for. They're gonna be offering sanctuary. It's
That too.
the nature of the followers will be there trying to.
And,
Large gathering of people in close contact with each other that could spread an infection. Basically, keep that in mind.
well, they're going to spread the infection.
They're like, yes, this is going to happen.
So, it's places like that that I'm going to be giving quite the white berth. Essentially, my main objective, especially if it's time to go, because there are zombies everywhere, I'm going to try to find the fastest way out of at least the city limits and the suburb area into like a more rural proper type area. Because the less people you're around, of course, the less likely you are to run into a shambling horde of people that want to eat your face.
Rural with some sort of perimeter, like a fence that is formidable, preferably, of course.
And thankfully, because of modern farming and Western standards from back in the day, there's very little places here in the States where you won't find some sort of perimeter fence for either state land, private owned land, farms, you name it. Like, there's rarely a road you can drive by where you can't see some sort of fence. Even if it's minimal, there's something there. So that's one thing you can, I wouldn't say count on, but you can at least have it there in your brain to know that that might impede a little bit, you know, the any kind of horde like catching up to you or anything like that. But in the early days, you won't necessarily have to worry about that, like a horde mentality from the zombies. You just need to worry more about the large gatherings for potential infection. That would be my main concern in an early zombie apocalypse would just be the whole, you know, getting it.
Of course,
Getting
the mass urbanization of America would be is the biggest threat here, because how much, like you said, how much country is there available to, you know, set up a proper establishment, settlement?
yeah, anything like that, like just in
State,
general.
it varies on state, I guess, but yeah.
It states the more further north you go, the more likely you are to find like kind of open ground where you
Yeah.
can either avoid people
Midwest,
altogether,
kinda.
yeah,
Kinda.
or
Eh.
just in general be further away. So, you know, like I said, first part of plan is I don't have to stop anywhere, and I can choose my shortest route out of the populated area that I'm in. And next would be like you do have to think about obviously your food and water situation. You can only carry so much with you, but being that this would be like the early time, the early onset of the zombie plague, you don't have to worry about not having your vehicle or being able to get gas and stuff like that. So obviously, take your vehicle. Don't leave it behind as if you were like 4 months in when you're not sure if you're going to get gas, you know, when you're 20 miles down the road. That's somewhat of an advantage of being able to like see the forest through the trees, so to speak, or, you know, see the smoke rising from the forest, or however you want to put it. Basically, it'll be early enough so that you still can use motorized transportation to wherever.
Yeah, the longer you wait, the more chance you risk of being caught in a checkpoint or a, you know, some sort
Or
of traffic jam. That's pretty much you're gone. So, but yeah, like
and that would be something to
exactly.
that's something I'm going to keep in mind as I'm going too. Like while I'm in that vehicle, I need to, you know, of course you should try to, or what I'm going to try to avoid are like the major highway areas where there will be backups and bottlenecks, and either just plain old drive through someone's field or, you know, the woods or wherever, or just use farm roads and stuff like that. But major roadways will be a barrier. Even if they're not at first, they will become so very quickly.
Yeah, there's gonna
Oh,
be
sorry, dog.
looting. There's gonna be military presence. There's gonna be, you think.
Which brings me to the point of like, if you are in this vehicle, like I'll be in the vehicle driving to wherever, you know, I'll have to decide how far do I go in this thing. Like if I hit this traffic snarl, do I want to wait it out and you know, just push on through, or am I basically going to cut and run from the vehicle and move to foot? You know, move to going on foot basically. And that just depends on, like, I guess when I hit the snarl versus you know, how much I can carry with me, that type of thing, because that's when you'll start to move into a real, like, I wouldn't say harrowing situation, but you'll definitely have to be more concerned about getting resupplied when you run out. So if you're on foot, you know, you're only going to be able to carry as much food and water with you, and it's really the water that you'll be replenishing more than anything else, because the food, you know, you can get by on very little and still function.
75% water we're composed of. Probably can only last about
It's 3 days
What,
without
three
water.
days?
Yep,
Three
that's
days?
it.
Yeah, 3 days.
Only three
Yeah.
days. If you go more than 3 days without water, you're toast. Or you're very near to toast, or toasted, I should say.
Also, traveling on foot is also a lot more stealthy. I mean, comparatively speaking.
Yes,
But, stamina is taken into account, obviously.
because you will be
Energy
carrying
consumption,
equipment.
things like that.
So yeah, as he brought up, like the going on foot has its advantages, because yes, you will be stealthy. And in my particular case, I will totally be stealthy. Like I will still going to go with my initial plan of trying to avoid people as much as possible. Simply, well, it's actually mostly for two reasons: because of high chance of infection, you know, having my face eaten off, basically. But also, as it has been said through many movies and or TV shows, especially The Walking Dead TV show, you know, unfortunately, man will be in the beginning. Man will be a bigger concern than the zombies. Because when,
Probably up until the very end, there will be some
oh,
sort of.
yeah, the people will always be a problem. It's just their degree
Yeah.
of danger will be much higher in the onset than, later on down the road. Because, once the zombie numbers start to multiply, obviously that's going to be the danger. The millions and millions of zombies running around the countryside. In the initial onset, it's going to be the millions and millions of people panicking.
Panic
But
is a killer.
oh yeah, like more people should pay attention to the Hitchhiker's Guide from the Galaxy's inside cover, where it says "Don't panic," because yeah, don't panic.
Good
Otherwise,
reference, yeah.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, because if you panic, you're hosed. You're done. And I'm pretty sure I just went in a circle. Let's find out.
Do you want to get into some of the weapons prefer
I totally went in a
utilize?
circle. Let's go back. So if I'm going to be like carrying like specific equipment, I guess going over specific equipment that I'll have with me. Obviously, the pack, food, water, something to sleep on. Because the ancient one, he served our country in the military for a little over 20 years. One of the things that would always go over or have a concern about while he was in the field of any kind would be socks.
Oh yeah.
If you don't keep your feet dry, you're going to have problems quickly. So, as weird as it sounds, you might want to carry a few more extra socks than you normally would, especially in a apocalyptic type situation. So,
Material base probably has a pretty big role in that. Wouldn't you say cotton would be the best, or did he ever specify sock material?
just the military socks were just cotton, dude. Yeah, just cotton socks.
Cotton, yeah, okay. So cotton's not polyester. That's probably the worst. Seems like.
Yeah, you don't want to use the stuff that the non-natural fiber type thing, because that stuff usually it'll either insulate or retain moisture, stuff like that. Like the cotton breathes, all that stuff. Oop, gonna run over this zombie dog. Oh, how the hell did I miss him? Anyway, so yeah, if anybody were to come across my lootable corpse, one of the things they would probably think would be a little odd was, man, this guy had a little more extra socks than you would think someone to have. That's the reason.
That's funny. That's gold.
Beyond that, like stuff for purifying water.
Knowledge of how to purify water.
That too, like where to get it,
That is
how long to boil it if you got to boil it, tabs if you got tabs. I got both. I also found a awesome metal what is it? A plate and bowl like set like the military uses. Basically, it's a tin that's folded on top of one another, and it's a plate and a bowl and a cup, and they're metal, so I can use them to boil any kind of water or anything in it. So I don't have to worry
Like
about
steel or
yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It's the
oh,
metal.
wow.
It's the little metal tray they used to give the soldiers, so they could eat in the field.
That stuff is extremely high quality. A lot of people don't fully appreciate how quality that stuff is.
Yeah, it might not look the part, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't
won't-
look it.
It's not gonna rust on you.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
part of the. It's so simple. It's just genius.
Exactly. And that would be one of the problems if you had metal stuff like that. You know, it rusting on you and you not being able to use it. And this
I think another big part is staying physically fit and active, even in times of extreme, uh, peril. Keeping your body and mind doing exercises, both mentally based and physically based.
that's
Kind of,
well, the main thing
yeah.
is like you'll already be doing the physically based action by moving, or at least in my case, like I will always be on the move. There will be very few or little times when I am not moving or not, you know, always worried about surroundings. So I mean, that in general will keep you going. But he would be more correct in the sense of like what would be more of a concern is your mental faculties. Like
Mental, I would say, overrides the physical by a little bit, but it's, both are critical.
you can't have one without the other. You just don't have to openly worry about the one because you'll just constantly be doing it anyway.
Also realizing you're going to be seeing a large amount of dead bodies and carnage and gore, you probably want to be have
I'm,
somewhat of a mental barrier to it to
I'm a
stay
fairly
going.
heartless individual. I watch a ton of horror movies, so I'll be fine. But
That should be enough. Yeah.
the but one thing, like myself included, that that someone would have to watch out for is like despair, hopelessness, like getting down, panicking, like we said earlier, stuff like that. That'll get you. That'll that'll get you quicker than the creature that wants to eat your face off. If you don't keep if you don't keep your brain within the frame of I want and or need to live, then you most likely won't.
And a lot of people are predispositioned to despair and, depression going into this, so there's going to be some trials and tribulations, I guess.
Yeah, some people are going to have it a little rougher than
Or
others
just
when it comes to that.
casualties.
I think I broke the game. No. Uh-oh. I think I broke it. I'm going to die. Please go away, screen. I accidentally clicked on the... Please.
I think most
I'm
people
gonna
are
die.
thinking go an automatic weapon and just mow everything down. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that's been so
we'll
engraved in the culture.
well, pop culture just in general will kill a ton of people, and we'll totally go over that in just a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, general stuff that you want to have with you, like I said, I'm going to have a few more socks than normal, the stuff to eat my food on, the general supplies for just surviving and stuff like that. I've already, like I said, totally already got that covered. As far as like what I'm going to be carrying with me weapon wise, KGB knows about a surprise that I have that nobody needs to know about. So I'll have that with me, of course. I also have a couple of different kinds of machetes that can be used. They're for different things, not necessarily lopping off arms and heads, but they have their practical uses. So I'll have one of those.
Go into a bit of detail on the machete, how it's such an ideal melee weapon, basically.
So
Because
as part of the
Go ahead.
whole pop culture will kill people thing, KGB was correct in the sense that, yeah, a lot of people are going to want to either try to find the cops or hell, even gangsters or whatever that'll have automatic weapons, and then, just start spraying face to try to eliminate however many or as much as possible. That they'll try to Rambo it basically.
I
And it
think
seems
you'll get somewhere with that, but in the end, you're going to draw maximum attention,
exactly,
and
if you
you're
go,
going to expend large amounts of ammunition that you could be using for more precise moments.
not only
Instead of
that,
just
not only will you just be using the ammo you could, you would be using
yeah.
ammo in general, but yes, you would be using ammo. You could save it for more important things, basically. Blasting the countryside wouldn't necessarily be the best idea, whether the zombie apocalypse just starts or whether it's 6 months down the road. Advertising
Yeah.
to everybody, their mother, and all the zombies literally in the world where you are by using really loud gunfire is not a good idea. So, as
Farthest
far
thing from a good idea.
as far as the whole machetes go, like the surprise that I know how to use that. I, however, am not a 15th century samurai shogun, so I don't know how to use that weapon. It probably, for me at least, it would be super impractical if if I went to find a katana and just carried it around like this. Like, I'm not Michonne from The Walking Dead, so I'm not going to be carrying a katana, mostly because I don't know how to use it. And that's one thing that, like, that'll be another thing that'll fall under the category of pop culture will kill you, is the various people that are going to go and find, one particular weapon or another that is from pop culture and use it as if they were, trained from birth to use it.
Yes, a lot of people don't take into account stamina. Uh, you might not be, you might not have as much as you think you do, just because you played so many video games, or like Rose said, pop culture will kill you. Just keep stating that. Can't press that enough, really.
Yeah, not nearly enough. Like,
But let's dissect. The machete can be used pretty effectively by almost anyone. I mean, with the strength to lift a what? What's the average machete weigh? About.
some of the heavier ones can be maybe 5 or 6 pounds, but in general, a machete is 2 to 3.
Yeah, and designed. Another great thing about it was not designed with taking lives initially as the thought. It was designed to clear obstacles out of the way.
It's
It
just cutting
just
brush.
also happened to be very good at taking lives. So basically, you're getting a weapon that is durable and can do anything you'd need in something situation like this, and also doesn't require extreme stamina to utilize or skill. So, the
And
machete is ideal.
one of the other main things about like machete type weapons or just stuff like that in general, it's easy to maintain.
Hmm.
A file might not be the best thing to sharpen a bladed weapon, but a file is perfect.
Just to keep that edge on it.
Yeah, just to keep it to have some sort of edge. Like, as you're swinging against, the zombie horde, that machete doesn't need to be sharp to, like, to cull the crowd. It just needs to have, that somewhat of an edge so it can do its business. So you don't need to be extra concerned about having the samurai edge on your machete. A regular old straight up file will get that done for you. If I were carrying the katana, I would need the special sharpening stones to keep that thing at its optimal slice and dice. The machete was purposely built, like he said, to just be a utility weapon, so it doesn't need high maintenance to keep it up and running. So,
let's go a little bit more into the katana. I feel like you said, The Walking Dead had its insane run. It's still got a run going. People, first of all, you're not gonna have access to a katana, most likely an authentic one. A lot of people are gonna be running around with knockoffs, and that might not even damage a zombie in this situation. It'd be more of a, wouldn't you say, a jabbing weapon instead of an authentic that's worth what are those 10,000 a piece
oh yeah, like
anywhere
if
from?
genuine real ones, they're in the thousands of dollars, even the modern ones. But if you're talking old school, like can cut the air so that you can go into another dimension sharp, like those ones are tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And not only do I not know how to like physically wield a katana, I don't know how to I don't know how to maintain it. I'm not a Japanese swordsmith, so I wouldn't like, even if I knew how to sharpen it, I probably wouldn't be able to sharpen it the proper way to make it as sharp as it should be.
Yeah, these aren't just weapons you just pick up and keep swinging people down like Michonne and the nothing wears. Yeah, good
Practicality
point on that one.
is going to
Hmm.
play a big part in what I carry around and or use, i.e., those machetes.
Hmm.
And like I said, I've got a few different types, so I'll probably honestly just pick my favorite one. I've also got a bunch of knives. I've got, the folding kind and I've got the straight kind. I'll have one of each. I won't necessarily be carrying like a blunt type weapon simply because those take a lot of energy to use in general, but just I've already got all the blades, don't necessarily need the blunt.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
I would say personally, I'm only going to carry one or the other.
What blunt? I mean, how many theoretically sound blunt weapons are the military grade use? I mean, back in the day there
Um,
was Morning Stars and whatnot, but who has a Morning Star sitting there? I mean, you know what I mean?
exactly. Like, I mean, you might
Blunt
find the
weapons are
odd
probably made of wood now.
the
They're
odd people
just
who
not.
collect those kinds of things would have like throwing stars and stuff like that on them, but they won't be the weapon. The steel won't be weapon quality. It'll just be a piece of metal.
No.
The other thing is like if you're gonna go blunt like blunt weapon types, there's actually a lot of them you could find that you wouldn't think about originally or necessarily. But like police batons, those things are super durable. I mean, they were purposely built, obviously.
Hmm.
There's
I
a
agree.
oh, that's a surprise. Whoa, he came kind of out of nowhere. Anyway, there's a weapon like it's basically a baton. It's kind of like a police baton. It's called an ASP, ASP, not ASS.
Like the snake.
Yes, it's basically a metal baton that folds in itself. So it ends up being maybe 2.5 inches when it's folded in, but when you flick out all the pieces, it turns into like a 3 foot, 2.5 foot weapon. It's made out of steel.
I'd put steel in probably. Is that the ideal material you want? I mean,
It's heavy, but it's dense.
of course, Damascus steel. If you have anything made of that, that's gonna be your best. But who?
Yeah, blade wise, if you
Not
can
a lot of
like
people.
blade wise, I know about the higher metal, like the good metals versus the bad in a bladed weapon. Most people won't. Like my good rule for thumb on like if the metal in a blade is good for using, if you can tap it on a surface and you can hear the metal ring, or if it has like a tone to it, that's good metal. It'll make a good blade. If you hit whatever blade it is you want to use and you hear just basically like a thunk, then it'll hold an edge, but it won't be very good and it won't last very long. And so yeah, obviously the ones that I bought are the kind that ring.
Alright, I think we need to get into the next topic. This one's probably the most critical in the United States of America, the gun.
So,
I guess we should just start off by saying you probably don't want to use a gun if at all possible, because of mainly
well, you'll need to,
the fact it runs off bullets, and those are
and the noise.
typically not going to be. Yes, and the noise is first, but bullets are also not always readily available and, of course, expendable.
That's a bit of a yes and no,
Should be
especially in
used
this country.
for. Okay, but how many? I guess depending on where you are demographically and
It'll be
regionally, you
higher
may
than
or may
other
not
places.
have.
Correct.
Yes, that's the biggest factor, I think.
And just in case you're wondering, yes, I did run over that rabbit just a second ago with the mini bike.
I wish I could have seen that.
There is a practicality to this subject, believe it or not. Like I said, because we do live in America, there are guns abound, basically. So bullets will also be abound. It's more about choosing, I guess, the right kind of bullet for the right situation. That's one thing. But also, if you're on foot and you're moving, you have weight to consider. So, being that we're not playing Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 4 or anything like that, those guys could hold 2,000 bullets and it wouldn't weigh a gram, They could just saunter on. If we're carrying 1,000 bullets, it's going to weigh like 50, 60 pounds. That's going to be a ton of weight. Even if they're 22 bullets, 1,022 bullets weighs like, what, 10, 12 pounds? It's heavy.
Yeah.
That being said, firearm-wise, you have to choose between use, weight, and ease of procurement. And there are viable options for this, believe it or not. Like a 22, not only is it light, it's everywhere. Even in places that don't really have a lot of guns, like 22 ammo you could sneeze and produce 22 ammo. Even if you had to produce it, it's easy to produce.
Wouldn't you say 22 and 9 mil are probably where you want to stay? Maybe 22 fully?
I would say 22
Just because
and 9 millimeter if we were in the 80s to the mid 2000s. I would say 22 and 9 millimeter. Nowadays, I would say 22 and 40 caliber.
Yeah, I actually have a 40 caliber pistol.
Exactly. The other thing is, like, the practicality part of it that people probably won't really think about is the reason you use 40 is because law enforcement, that's what they use. There are police stations
think about
everywhere.
what's working for. Yeah, exactly.
So
that also tells you that if that's what they want to use, then that's got to be a solid round. It's stopping a man stopper, so to speak, zombie stopper in this case. But.
And because they are zombies, and you will be like having to aim for the head, your aim will of course come into play. That if you've never handled a gun before and you're trying to waste the zombie horde, you're gonna find that you're not taking down as many as you would hope and or think.
Okay, I know people are thinking this, but what zombies are we talking about? Your atypical zombies?
Oh, we'll get to that in just a
super
moment.
zombies that run. I'm sorry, I'm excited. All right.
But bullet-wise, even if you're not into guns or don't know much about guns in general, there is a practical way to think about it. You just have to think like what's light and what is most available. The 22 is super light, plus it doesn't take a whole lot of force or kinetic energy to go through the head. It's not like they're wearing
Kevlar. You could probably put it through the orbital socket without much training.
You could put it through anywhere. A 22 round will go through, believe it or not, will go through a human head quite easily. In certain cases, it actually goes in, bounces around the inside, and stays there. because
A
the
headshot is a headshot.
yeah, the bullets aren't very big, so I mean, once they go in and deform, they start losing kinetic energy, and they just kind of bounce around in the brain, making the zombie really dead. But yeah, like I said, practicality. The 22 is light and it's abundant. like the 40 caliber side of it. The reason I choose that, again, practicality. It may not be as light, but it is still very practical because, like I said, there are police stations everywhere.
Oh
Even if
yeah.
you only find one magazine on a poor officer who's passed away, that's one more magazine of that you didn't have beforehand. And if you were carrying around your Beretta, you'd be screwed.
Yeah, they're no longer on the 9 mil train.
So, not that I would carry a larger or a higher caliber like rifle type gun. Like I would only use pistols. I wouldn't use rifles of any kind, based on, again, practicality and weight. Too heavy, and that's when the calibers start to get even harder to find. You can get away with a shotgun, I guess, but again, weight. Those tend to be pretty heavy. You store
Shotgun
the bullets.
also could spread material, biological material. It's in that.
Yeah,
That's a tough one. Tough
he's
one.
got a very good point in spreading biological material. If you're in a closed-in area and you need to remove the head of something that's trying to eat your face off, well, you're going to spray that all over the place, potentially infecting you because you've got a cut you didn't know about, or it lands in your mouth or your eyes or wherever. But
Yeah, I don't think the movies really do that justice.
oh no, a lot of
When you just see a guy pull a shotgun out up close and just not drenched in. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah, or not having brain matter sprayed all over the place.
Yes. Yes.
It The shotgun would be practical though because there's shotgun ammo everywhere. The cops, again, police forces, they use 12 gauge.
Shotguns.
So that would the ammo wouldn't be too hard to find. It would be more of a weight issue for me. That's why I wouldn't really carry one. Maybe later on down the road, like when things have kind of quieted down or whatever, and you're looking more at like a tower defense situation or just a, maybe even a last stand type of situation, then you can start thinking about rifles and shotguns and stuff like that. Me personally, I would get stupid and find some shotgun that was a double barrel side by side, and when I said go stupid, I meant stupid. I'd find a 10 gauge.
Yeah, of course. But
I'm gonna go dumb.
10
I'm
gauge has
gonna
got
go
more kick
real
on
dumb. And for anybody who's unaware, in shotguns, when they go over bullet caliber, the lower the number of the bullet caliber, the bigger the shotgun bullet, the bigger the round is. So the 12 gauge is like the standard. It's about the size of I'd say maybe a nickel, a little bit bigger than a nickel.
it. Diameter wise, yeah. But
A 10 gauge is like a quarter.
I'd say 16 gauge. I mean, 12 is going to be the most abundant. You're right about that. But a lot of people. I mean, there's going to be a lot of smaller, frail people out there trying to survive this,
Yeah,
and
you could probably get away with using
16
410.
gauge is about as light as you can get. 20
Yeah,
gauge is the lightest. But
yeah, and that's like 410
yeah,
range
yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah.
If you're gonna go big, like I said, go stupid, go big and big, go real big. Exactly, like just go straight out of the gun. But anyway, that, like I said, that's for a way later date than the initial onset. Uh, in the initial onset, it's going to be more about supplies, weight, stealth, and ease of escape. I guess is the best way to put it. Like those are going to be my concerns. Like I said earlier, if I'm in the vehicle, when do I ditch it? How far do I go in it? Once I'm on foot, how am I going to, like, my main concern is going to be water. How am I going to do my water? And then defense, we just went over that. I've got my various bladed instruments that will work on zombies just as well as blunts will. I will specifically only be carrying the bladed kind because, I know how to use them. Anyone can use a blunt weapon, yes. Not everyone can use a bladed one. And as we went over, I'm not going to be carrying super fancy katanas or pole arms, rapiers, broadswords, things like that because I'm not a
These are not readily available. They're just no
that
longer
too. But
part
I'm
of
not.
modern society.
I'm a century knight. I'm not a, 13th century samurai warlord. I don't know how to use those things or those particular weapons, so I'm not going to be carrying them. The firearm wise, I will only be carrying pistols. And my chosen
Of course.
caliber would be either the 22 or the 40.
9mm, I think 9mm still deserves to be in there. It's more readily available still, wouldn't you
The
say?
bullets are lighter than 40 caliber, yes, and the magazine size is typically the same now, but it has its advantages in that it's lighter. Like you could probably carry twice as many 9mm rounds as you could 40. This is the
Oh,
size
yeah.
of it.
I also believe the magazines for the pistols can carry way more rounds, typically. Going back to the, what you just said, the rounds more compact. Meaning you could probably get a 15-round magazine
Oh, my 40 caliber has
easily.
my
Like a
40
Beretta,
caliber.
think of the Beretta.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's 15 rounds plus the one inside the actual weapon
How
itself.
many rounds
So.
does your 40 hold? Mine holds about 8, I think.
Oh, ours it's full frame, so it's fucking.
Oh, you got a full frame. Okay, I got a little compact. I
Yeah, no,
like the
it's
compact
it's
just
full frame, dude.
for.
So it holds
Uh,
14 plus the one, so it's practically the same size. That's why.
oh, dang. Never mind. Get
Yeah,
what he's got, ladies and gentlemen. Good
so yeah, I don't have
God.
to worry about that. So I mean, personally, that's what I would be using. Again, I know how to use those, so that's what I'm going to carry. I'm not a military sniper, so I'm not going to be carrying around the Marine Scout sniper or anything like that. I've never fired the squad automatic weapon, so I'm not going to be carrying a saw and a ton of 5.56 bullets, things like that. I won't have the homemade flamethrower strapped to my back.
Like Elon Musk.
And then, my other concerns would just be like stealth and then avoiding the masses for the most part, because where the masses
Humans
are,
bad.
yeah, where the masses are, it's two things: humans evil, zombies want to eat your face off. Where large congregations are, there will be both. Typically embroiled in combat.
We don't want to fight, we want to live.
Yes.
Think that.
And as bad as it sounds, think me heartless or nothing, but if I could stop and help someone, if I'm able, not like am I physically able, but I mean, is it viably it is a viable option to save this person, or would I be throwing my life away? Like, because it's not going to do me any good to be dead with the other person that's on their way to
Exactly.
be dead, as heartless as it sounds. Like, that's just how I would do things. Doesn't necessarily mean how anybody else has to do them, but if the person has a high success rate of survival and or rescue, yeah, I'll go get them. I know I'll go get them, no problem. But if it's one person surrounded by a hospital's worth of zombies, I'm certainly not going to stay to watch. But I wouldn't. They're as bad as it sounds. Just because it couldn't, what would I be able to do? I would be the second.
You just
body.
add in another carcass. Yeah,
Yeah,
just add
I would
another
just be the
carcass.
next dead body, surrounded by a hospital's worth of zombies. So, like I said, it might sound heartless, but that's just, Everyone will be considering this option too. Trust me, it won't just be me and my already predetermined option. Most people would run and leave you, and or just, you know, they would be mostly concerned about their own safety, which isn't wrong in any way, shape, or form. Ran over a zombie in the mini bike. Ran over 2 zombies in the mini bike. Of course, it didn't kill the zombies, it just made them really angry.
Yeah, being a hero means being a corpse for the most part.
It can.
Now, of course, you're not going to be able to probably sit there and leave a family member or friend easily.
That's the key word, easily. Like, again, you will be weighing this option.
True. I guess the situation, it's subjective since situational, super situational.
Yeah, that would be you won't know what you're going to do till it's happening.
The more prepared you are, let's put it this way, the better chances you have of a successful defense of, or in this case, rescue of someone, I guess.
Yeah.
So, it's part of the whole
Essentially what it comes down
concept
to
of this.
is, if you can leave your humanity and stuff like that behind, most likely you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna make it through this. If you, however, won't be able to leave a fair portion of your how did I miss him? Anyway, if you won't be able to leave a good portion of your humanity and or other, morals and things like that behind, there's a slightly higher chance that you're gonna have your face eaten up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that, just like I said, most people will weigh those options right as they're happening. I just happen to have predetermined options for them because I'm fairly heartless and I don't know a lot of people.
You're in a great position for this.
Oh! What the? He hit. How did that dog bite me? If I had a gun, I'd kill you. Anyway, I was trying to run over a dog and for whatever reason, like, I stopped and he was able to bite me.
Rabid dog or zombie dog?
Oh, it's a zombie dog. Typically, you can run them over with the mini bike. Not this one, dude. He stopped me literally dead in my tracks.
Savage little Kuja.
Yeah, dude, no kidding. Jesus. Stopped me like a brick wall. And so I stop. And my bike is dangerously out of gas. But on that note, we'll leave you with the tiny tidbits of not what to do if zombies decided to rise and cause trouble. That would be the starting bits of what I might do in the beginning of the strife. One thing that I would like to leave you with is, because I don't really have much of a life and I spend most of them in video games like that, I would know immediately if there really was going to be a zombie apocalypse. Like, just by seeing the news, I would know he's ahead of everyone else. This is a zombie apocalypse. I'm getting the fuck out of here. While everybody else is looking at the TV going, is this real?
No one watches the fucking news anymore, Luis.
Or wherever you get your fake government-fed propaganda / information / whatever your term for it is. I would be long gone while you're still playing at the TV or your phone or whatever it is. I'd be gone. I'd already be in the woods with a beard.
Logan style.
Yep. I have a distinct advantage in that I already know, I will know way ahead of time what to look for and or what's going on. So,
situational awareness, man. In
exactly.
any part of your life. Just be aware of what's going on the best you can.
So if you're unfamiliar with these signs of a zombie apocalypse, it may behoove some people to study up and or read and or look like we were saying earlier, Zombie Survival Guide. Wonderful book. Tons of practical information in there. That'll help you survive a zombie apocalypse. Not in the way I would survive a zombie apocalypse, but in general. That being said, you have to watch out for those damn zombie dogs. Apparently they're brick walls now. I'm Road 2501, and he is KGB Assassin.
KGB Assassin 42.
And I ran into a rock like a moron. Yeah, so watch out for the brick wall zombie dogs, and we'll see you again.
Take care, guys.